Y'all, the rainbow bow setup is complete. Let's take a look at it. Ooh, I just wish I could show you. Sorry. Hey, howdy, hey, what is going on, you guys? Now, boy, do I have an exciting video. Let me just say, I'm so hyped and so excited for today's video. Now, let me just say, whatever today's video is going to be about is what's right where I'm pointing. Now, it's probably blurred or censored, but it's right there, and I am so hyped for what's about to go down. Now, I will say real quick, we have got a package on our front door, and this package is a key ingredient for what I'm going to show you guys here shortly. So let's go ahead and grab this package, bring this package in here. This is a very important ingredient for today's video, so we're going to take this inside and open it up. Now, let me just say real quick, whatever is in this box right here is a very important ingredient in today's video. So we're going to open this box up here. I'm going to open it up the other direction so you guys don't see what's inside quite yet. Here we go, y'all. Here we go. Alrighty, the box is open. Kind of like we're doing a little unboxing, aren't we? Once I show you this is like the most important item that I've been waiting on to finish this video. And it is a radiant heat panel. It's upside down. It is a radiant heat panel. Can you guys drop a comment down below and let me know before you continue along with the video, don't cheat, what you think this radiant heat panel is for. Once again, drop a comment, but do not cheat. Don't skip ahead or anything like that. Just drop a comment right now. What do you think this radiant heat panel is for? Now, I will tell you right now, the item that I have blurred is some sort of cage or cage setup. So real quick, let me show you some of the objects we have for this setup. We've got a thermostat, we've got a heater, we've got all sorts of wood, all sorts of huge chunks of wood. We got some giant plants, some more wood, and then up top here, even more plants. Now, these plants are live, so this is obviously some sort of bioactive setup we're going to be doing. We've got tons of plants, tons of wood, and we've got more stuff elsewhere as well. But let me just tell you, this is going to be the best or one of the best setups in the reptile room. And yes, I know that says a lot considering all these cages here are amazing setups. Oh yeah, not to mention, this setup is so large that the 240 gallons right here that were once over on this side had to get moved over here because it literally takes up the space of like almost 240 gallons. I kid you not, the setup I'm looking at right now is probably the second largest enclosure that I currently own. So now you can kind of see some of the enclosure to the left right here, but that's not what we're talking about. So we got our heat panel, we got our thermostat. So before I show you all of this enclosure, we're going to get this heat panel and thermostat installed. Once we get these two objects, I guess you could say, installed, then I will show you what this enclosure really looks like. But let me just tell you, it is a sick, and I mean a sick enclosure, one of the coolest that will be in this reptile room. But I don't want to show y'all anything too soon. So let me go ahead and get these panels installed and then we'll go from there.
3 hours later.
Well, y'all, we have gotten it all installed. And here's basically the cage without stuff inside. Look at that, y'all. Look at that. Does that not look absolutely insane? Obviously, the glass doors are right over there, so the doors obviously aren't on. But look at that. We literally have a laser engraved logo on the back of this enclosure. It says Pyro Toad. We have, of course, got our frog or our toad, whatever you guys want to call it. If you look closely, in that corner there, the man has literally got a lighter. So that's where the pyro and then the toad, Pyro Toad, yeah, cool, okay. Look at this cage, y'all. Now, this is the cage that basically I've been wanting to reveal to you guys for a while now. And it's been a few weeks in the making. And I mean, this thing is giant. Put this in perspective, that's a regular 10-gallon tank. That is this cage. And Gucci is in a 40-gallon. So you can kind of see the absolute size difference on all the enclosures. I know for those of you who have OCD, the black big old cage might kind of throw it off compared to everything else, but for me it doesn't really bother me that much, and I think it looks super dope. So I got the thermostat hooked up, I think, and then I got the heat panel, which is up here. We've got an LED light strip. We've also got a black light strip, which if I turn on the black light switch, so it illuminates the logo a whole lot more. I mean, look at that. I'm sorry that I'm like rambling on and mumbling on, but this enclosure is absolutely mind-blowing. Basically, in a nutshell, I've got the thermostat and I've got the probe touching the heat pad. Now, there's this little aluminum tape. I think that's alright if you use that on the enclosure, but let me know down in the comments. Keep in mind, this is my first PVC enclosure. I've never owned a PVC enclosure before, but I think this makes a great first enclosure nonetheless. But as our thermostat says, it's currently 6:21 p.m. so it's getting a little late. So I will catch you all tomorrow when we finish setting up this enclosure. Well, good morning, y'all. The setup is now empty and bare. Now we have to basically start getting dirt inside, then our wood, and kind of building it from there. Alrighty, y'all, so now we've got our setup emptied out, as I said, but now we're going to go through the ingredients that we're going to be using. So first off, we've got a whole bucket full of this peat moss. Now this stuff's good. It's just kind of like a filler substrate. I wouldn't use this as the only substrate for a rainbow boa, but this is a good filler substrate. Next, we're going to be using some of this mulch here. Now this mulch is really good for rainbow boas. It's literally just regular cypress mulch. Basically, you're just going to mix that in with the peat moss. Moving on from there, we've got some sphagnum moss. Once again, we're going to be mixing it in with everything. Nothing too fancy about that. Just kind of helps hold humidity. Then moving along, we got this jungle mix. Now this is like my key ingredient. I use this for almost every bioactive setup I have. I absolutely love this stuff, and we're going to use a lot of this bag, if not this whole bag. Next, we got some leaf litter. This leaf litter we're gonna put on top and mix in and out of the substrate. I like leaf litter, and of course leaf litter is very important for isopods and springtails. And lastly, we got some of this refty bark here. It's kind of like the cypress mulch, just a different material and a little bit of different chunks, but this stuff's really good for bioactive setups as well. So I've got these different pieces of wood, this really weird viney looking wood. Then I've got this big old chunk of cork, and before we add any substrate, we're gonna actually put these pieces of wood in and out and around the enclosure and kind of see what looks best. For example, we may like this more than this, but we can't really change it if we've got dirt in it. So we're gonna kind of play along with the wood and see what looks best. Alrighty, y'all, so we've got our first bag, the first substrate that is going inside this enclosure right here that you guys are currently in. Here we go, y'all. We're about to start setting up this cage, a cage that I've been working on for so long now. Without further ado, there we go. Dirt is now getting added to the enclosure. Now we're going to add some of our peat moss here. We're just going to keep dumping all the substrate in just like that. And then once we get a whole bunch of it in, we're going to basically mix it up. So next, we've got our cypress mulch here. Dump that in as well. We're not going to use that whole bucket quite yet. We're going to add some more on the top later. Then we've got some of our moss. We'll add more on the top later with this as well. But we're going to sprinkle it all throughout the enclosure here. Once we get all this moss here, we're basically going to kind of start mixing it up. Now it's going to take a few minutes to get all this mixed up. So I guess I'll catch y'all once we get all this dirt mixed up.
4 to 6 weeks later.
Now that we've gotten a lot of our dirt mixed up, we've also got some of this Zilla bark blend. So we're going to add some of this, just a little bit. You don't want to use too much. We're going to kind of sprinkle a little bit throughout the cage here. And then once again, we're going to mix it up. Alrighty, y'all, so we've gotten the dirt inside of the setup. It's starting to come along. We've got about, I'd say, a 3-inch layer of dirt in the cage. Now we're going to start taking all this wood behind me and basically positioning it where we think looks best. Alrighty, y'all, so we have made some serious progress with the wood here. We've got these branches here, which Isaiah, my person behind the camera, you want to flip the camera around real quick?
Not really.
Oh, okay. So we got these branches in here, or these pieces of wood here. This was kind of my cameraman Isaiah's idea, so shout out to you, bro, right behind the camera. But we got the wood here. Looks absolutely sick. So he can hide in this way or this way. So he's got 2 ways to enter his hide. Maybe that way too, but it'd be a little bit of a tight squeeze. We're gonna have plants going all across the background. Then we've got the branches kind of going all the way across here. We're gonna have a plant maybe here as well. So it'll look super dope. Then we got this here. Water bowl's probably gonna go here. It'll all make sense once it's finished. I know I seem like I'm kind of just rambling on.
Shut up! Shut up! Shut up!
So yeah, this is looking super good. And then, what the heck? What? There's a gorilla in here. Jonah, get that out of here. Well, y'all, this enclosure is looking absolutely insane. As I said, we've got our branches all across the enclosure. We've got our dope logo that says Pyrotoad on it. Now what we're going to do is we're going to get all of our plants inside the enclosure. So we've got a drill here with a drill bit. I'm not sure what size. We literally just measured it to the size of this little wooden piece on the plant. Then we'll drill a hole in whatever piece of wood we think the plant looks best in and stick the plant in. Okay, y'all, I have the enclosure in front of me right now, and it is almost complete. I've gotten a ton of plants in. I should have filmed more of me planting it, but I kind of get lost in these setups and lost in building these setups. So we're going to finish planting it, and then I guess I'll show you what we have going on. But just know, this setup easily is like one of the top 10 setups in my reptile room. This thing looks absolutely insane, and I'm so excited to show you guys. Alrighty, so currently right behind the cameraman is the cage, basically complete. Now, of course, our Brazilian rainbow boa is going to be going inside of this enclosure. Right now, he's in this tub. I feel bad for him because this tub is just a crappy setup. It doesn't look nice compared to what he's about to be going in. But we're going to put the label on the cage and then take a look at the setup. I guess at this point, no more holding it back. I'm going to show you the enclosure. Now let me say, this is definitely one of the best enclosures. I've already said it before, but this cage looks absolutely amazing, and it turned out better than I was expecting. Alrighty y'all, this is the enclosure that we have been waiting for. I am literally like shaking because I've been wanting to do this setup for so long. It costs a little bit of money. My wallet's a little bit broken, just a little bit. But without further ado, here's the enclosure you all have been waiting for. 3, 2, 1, go ahead. Look at that, y'all. This setup is absolutely amazing. I mean, I don't even know. I'm at a loss of words about what to say for it. We've got the bromeliads all across the enclosure. We've got the plants here. We've got cork and branches giving him tons of climbing spaces. We have, of course, got the beautiful Pyrotoad logo in the background. Absolutely insane nonetheless. Real quick, y'all, we got to get our sprayer and spray this cage down. We got all these new plants in here, so we got to start spraying it down. We're going to pump it. We're going to start spraying it down here, getting all these plants wet, getting all this stuff, this dirt and substrate wet as well. Get it all sprayed down really good. So right now, Isaiah's spraying it down. It's going to look super good. It's going to look even better once there's water on it, because obviously the water allows the leaves of the plants to kind of like glisten with the light. Like, you can already see how nice it looks, and we're just barely spraying it down. We've literally just started, and it's just looking so amazing, guys. I am so hyped for this setup. And don't forget, we still have to introduce the snake, and we still have to add isopods and springtails to this enclosure. Alright, y'all, we are calling Chris here to see and get his reaction on our setup. That's if he even answers. Chris, is Chris gonna answer? Alright, there he goes, Alright, Chris, do you want to see the setup?
What setup?
The setup of the Brazilian rainbow boa. Are you ready?
Yes.
Look at that. What do you think?
Oh my gosh!
Bro, wonderful acting.
Dude, you killed it.
Thank you. There we go, y'all. There you have it. Alright, bye. Alright, so we got our tub of isopods and springtails here. Let's see what all is inside, because we need some isopods and springtails. So you see all those little white bugs crawling around? Those are the springtails. I believe if we flip this over, there are a little bit of isopods. So there's some babies there. Let's see what's under here. There's some more adults right there. So there are tons of little isopods running around. What we're going to do is we're going to take this inside the enclosure and just literally just shake them off. There they go. They're like running. They're so scared. Poor little guys. Okay, so we're going to get another one. Go. Shake it. You probably can't really see them shaking off, but they're obviously falling off. Then we'll take this big one here. Look at that one. Let's see. There they go. Let's see if we can let these guys go. Go, buddy. There he goes. There they go. So these little guys are going to help keep the setup clean. They're going to basically eat all the waste from the snake. Whatever that snake poops out, sheds out, that I'm not able to scoop out myself, they're going to eat it up and basically turn it into like fertilizer. Alright, y'all, in our next tub right down here, we're going to open it up. And look at all the little zebra isopods. Once again, these guys are for sale. You just got to DM me on Instagram if y'all want some. But look at all these little isopods. So we're literally going to take this right here. We're going to shake it off. We're going to let them all go free. Let them live their best life inside of this enclosure. And then once again, as I said, they're just going to kind of clean up the waste. So we've got our little isopods and springtails in. As you can see, they're just running around trying to find out where the heck they've just been dumped. Now over time, I'm going to add more to this setup, but I don't want to use up all my personal isopods and springtails, and I gotta wait till they breed a little bit more. But once they do breed, we'll be dumping a whole lot more into this setup to kind of get it established. Basically, in a nutshell, the isopods and springtails are kind of like having bacteria in your aquarium for those of you who keep fish quite often. If you don't have a good amount of them, then you can't have a proper setup because they keep your setup clean. I'm gonna take these tubs, we're gonna put them up right up on the shelf here and get ready to introduce our snake. Alrighty y'all, finally the moment you've been waiting for. We're gonna get our snake Blaze, which is currently chilling down in the hide, into his new setup, which is waiting for a snake. I mean, this thing looks absolutely gorgeous. We're set to the perfect temperature, 82 degrees. We can go a little higher if we need to. We can do 83, 84, but I like to keep him at 82. So the temperature is perfect, the setup is perfect, and without further ado, it's time to introduce our giant 6-foot snake into his setup. And real quick, before we put him in his cage, just to kind of show y'all, that's why they get the name Rainbow Boa. Look at that rainbow iridescence. And honestly, it's a lot more of a rainbow color, I guess you could say. I say what? It's a lot more of a rainbow color when he's exposed to more light. But just off that little piece of skin showing, look at that. That is an absolutely gorgeous snake. But now, without further ado, I guess I need to stop procrastinating and add this snake to his setup. Alright y'all, we've got our big boy Blaze. Let's see if we can get him to stretch out for us. Hi buddy, what are you doing, dude? That's the wrong way. Look at this guy, absolutely gorgeous snake. Now let's walk him to his setup. Are you ready, bro? Without further ado y'all, it is time we introduce this snake into his new setup. Absolutely beast of an animal, but here we go. Alright Blaze, are you ready buddy? Go into your new home. Go free buddy. Wrong way, you're going the wrong way. There he goes y'all. There he goes. Into his new setup, right into his hide. Look at the colors on it. Make sure you're picking it. You can come this way, come this way. Look at the colors on this snake. There he goes, right into his hide. He is stretched out and you can really see the length on this animal. What a gorgeous creature this dude is. He's going to love his home from now and this point forward. Look at that. So now he's introduced to his enclosure, and I'll continue to update you guys on how he does in his new setup. And if there's something you think I might have done wrong or that I should add or do differently, let me know down in the comments. I'm always up and open ears to listen to y'all's suggestions, so go ahead, drop a comment if you have any suggestions. Well y'all, we have officially gotten this setup complete. Blaze is now in his setup, living his best life. Now honestly, with the way we have set this enclosure up, I don't know how easy it's going to be to find him and take him out, but I guess we'll kind of go from there. Now make sure you guys drop a like if you enjoyed the setup and the build on this enclosure. I think it was worth every penny and every dollar and every minute spent on this enclosure, but let me know what you guys think down in the comments. Now I would like to say a couple of things before we continue with the outro of today's video. First off, huge, and I mean huge shout out to Southern Reptile Supplies. They're linked in the description. That's basically the company I work for, who helped hook it up in a lot of the plants in this enclosure. So definitely go check out Southern Reptile Supplies. You can check out their Facebook or their website, whatever's linked in the description. Maybe it's both, I don't really know. Go check out Southern Reptile Supplies. Thank you so much to Kelly, Andy, Casey, everybody at Southern Reptile Supplies. I know you guys are watching right now, for basically helping me out on setting an enclosure up like this. Next, I would like to say huge, and I mean huge, shout out to High Scale Reptile Enclosures. They are the people who basically built this enclosure for me. So go check out their website as well if you want a dope PVC cage built for yourself. So yeah, definitely go check out High Scale Reptile Enclosures, because they basically built this enclosure. Well, they did build this enclosure. They added the logo on the back there as well. So go check them out if you want a crazy PVC enclosure built. And you can get all sorts of different dimensions. It doesn't have to be just like mine. It can be smaller, it can be larger, it doesn't really matter. But yeah, go check out all the links in the description. Southern Reptile Supplies, my cameraman's, and High Scale Reptiles Enclosures. All their social medias will be linked in the description. Okay, now with all that being said, let's continue to the outro. Well y'all, if y'all did enjoy that setup of this enclosure, make sure you go ahead and drop a like for me. It lets me know if you guys enjoyed, if y'all enjoyed the video, and if it was worth your time watching. y'all have dropped a like, make sure to follow my Instagram, TheRealPiratoadYT. It's always linked in the description. And for those of y'all who were following my Instagram, y'all basically got sneak peek updates on this setup. Once you guys have liked and once y'all have followed my Instagram, make sure to subscribe. We're on the road to 3,000 subscribers. We're continuously growing, so why not join the family, see more insane builds like this one here, then go ahead, just subscribe. After you have done all three of those things, you've liked, you've commented, subscribed, and you've followed the people that I've linked in the description, and you guys are basically officially good to go. So without further ado, I hope y'all enjoyed. I will see you all in the next one. Drop video ideas in the comments below, and I'll see y'all in the next one. Peace!